Christine, remember when you were a kid and you thought that your career was going to be this like perfect straight line trajectory?
Oh my, yes. That is not at all what happened. It ended up being way more of a squiggle than I could have ever imagined. And I am so happy that I embraced all of the squiggles along the way.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Embrace the Squiggle, the podcast for anyone whose career or life looks nothing like a straight line. And honestly, this is where all the fun stuff happens. We are Colleen.
And Christine.
And this is episode 85. And today we have a super special guest today. So you've all heard us talk about the fabulous Lili who produces our podcast. And then at one point, Christine and I are like, how have we gone this long with not having Lili as a guest because she has squiggled? So today we have the fabulous Lili Paxton, who we have talked about many times on this podcast. Welcome, Lili.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, it's like this. It's the Embrace the Squiggle team.
Yes, it's all of us. The strong, mighty team of three.
Oh
yes.
my goodness. What a ride it's been. Holy smokes.
I know. I can't believe it's been since, 2023?
Yeah, 85 episodes every week.
Wow.
We had our first meeting, and I was in Massachusetts, and we got on Zoom with you for the very first time. And then you sent us this massive checklist of things that we had to do. And we scrambled so fast, and we changed the entire name and brand of the podcast before I got back on the plane to fly back to Canada. It was crazy.
Yeah, that checklist definitely gets people to act. That's kind of the point of it, but it causes a lot of stress in the meantime, for sure.
I think we would have been fine if we didn't decide to change the name and then have to go back and redo all the work that we had already done in a different name. Our listeners probably don't know that story.
True. What was the original name? I actually don't remember.
I remember.
Unfiltered Career Adventures.
Oh, okay. So it was just the Unfiltered Career. Yeah, I remember you came back to me with Embrace the Squiggle, and I was like, that is fantastic. I was not expecting it.
So much better.
It was great.
So much. I mean, Unfiltered Career Adventures, we talk about that, but it's not catchy.
It's still on. It's still part of our brand.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Like it's woven in.
It wouldn't have made a good sticker, Christine.
No, I know.
It's all about the sticker.
I have given away stickers, and I can now understand. People really do love them.
I just had to reorder, so I've given away 2,500 stickers so far.
2,500?
2,500. And Lili, I don't know that you know the story, but I got stopped in the airport in Boston last month. Literally had someone track me down. And when we're talking, I was like, I have a sticker. You've never seen someone so happy. I wish I had it on video.
That is crazy. The world of podcasting, the world of TikTok, really you kind of forget when you're creating content that anyone is watching it.
Yeah.
And then when you meet someone in real life, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not just going into this void where it never comes back. It's going out there and it's reaching people and it's really affecting people. So that is such an amazing story.
I had a past client send me a message and just give me an update. And she had squiggled within her company. We'd worked together for at least 6 months. It might have been a little bit longer, but let's just call it 6 months. And she'd been with her organization for 20 something years. So big global brand, squiggled a number of times and then landed in a role where she wasn't happy and messaged me about 2 weeks ago and just said, hey, I want to give you an update. I found a new role within. She hadn't been networking internally.
Yeah, hang on, Christine. Whose phone is ringing?
Is your phone? Your phone is ringing.
Yeah. Okay. We need to pause here. And then
let it ring. Do you have a home phone?
Does it sound like it? No, it's old fashioned. It's the old fashioned plug in your phone ring tone.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a home phone.
No.
Okay, Christine, don't you know before you get on a podcast, you're supposed to
I know, I forgot.
Disturb.
I usually do. Today I failed. Oh, but it's so fun. Okay, so anyways, I just got to go back. So anyways, she did tell me that when she needs to hear my words of wisdom, she listens to the podcast. That's where I was going with my long-winded. And she networked, Colleen. So like she gets 5 stars.
All right, Lily,
But
we got to jump into you because today's story is about you because you have definitely squiggled. And not just careers, but location. So I'm
Oh
excited because
yeah.
I
Yes.
also love your podcast, which we have to shout out too. But let's go
Mhm.
back to little Lily. Ooh, that's hard to say. Let's go back to little Lily. And what did little
Mhm.
Lily think she was going to be when she was a little kid?
Yeah. So because I've had the honor of listening to all 85 episodes of Embrace the Squiggle, I know the most common answers. And unfortunately, I am like every other person. I wanted to be a veterinarian, obviously.
Ah.
I always loved animals. I actually became a vegetarian at a young age and stuck with it for most of my life. I was a vegetarian for 12 years. And I did want to be a veterinarian for quite a long time. But yes, veterinarian, because I just have always loved animals and I continue to.
And so you're a U.S. West Coaster. You came to the East
Yes.
Coast for college, right? Got
Yes.
out here, and what did you think you were going to do when you got to college? Like
Yeah,
that's a
initially
big jump for college.
it is. It is a big jump. So I'm from Portland, Oregon, but I do have a lot of family in the Boston area. So that was kind of part of my squiggle was I'd always wanted to move to the East Coast because a ton of my family lives on the East Coast and it was very idyllic and all of the movies, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to a liberal arts college
In the
on the East
Northeast, right?
Coast.
Brick
Yeah, I'm going to have
buildings,
those.
right?
Exactly, exactly. And my college was like that. I went to Mount Holyoke College. For anyone who
Oh, I
knows it, it
didn't
is
know that.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so it's right near
gorgeous.
Colleen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the campus is the most beautiful campus I have ever seen. And when I got there, I initially was just gonna study politics because I was very politically inclined at the time. I wouldn't say I am anymore. And then I ended up studying international relations, which kind of is the start of my squiggle, and Spanish. So I was a double major, and I wanted to eventually work in politics and campaigning. But I didn't exactly go that far into the squiggle for lots of reasons.
So you
You'd be
graduate.
really good at that though. I could see you. I could see you on a campaign actually. Yeah,
Ah, interesting. Yeah,
I could.
I wouldn't say I was. I worked on a U.S. Senate campaign in Wisconsin in the year 2018, just as an intern. It was like something
Cool.
to try out. As you guys advocate for internships a lot, and
Yes.
I agree because I tried it out and I decided this is not for me. It
I
was
love
all
it.
about asking for money, and you make as someone on a campaign, you make no money and you're working like 60, 70-hour weeks. And I was like, oh, this is really not for me. But I did try it out. So that was good. And then I
Love it.
decided like politics maybe isn't my game. I think because it's just so cutthroat and I find a lot of politicians to lean narcissistic. So so I just didn't really want to get that that involved in it.
Cool.
All right, so you graduate college, you realize you're not going to be, a political manager at this point, right? You're not going into
No.
politics. And
Mm-mm.
so what do you do when you graduate?
Yeah, so I, of course, was lucky enough to graduate during the whole COVID pandemic situation. So actually, I was only at college for like 2 years, and then I ended up going home for almost 2 years of it. And I had a cousin who had moved to Spain to teach English before, and he had loved it. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I had studied abroad in Spain. I love Spain. I spoke Spanish. I don't really know what I want to do with my life at the time. That's what I thought. I'm going to go teach Spanish. What could or teach English? Obviously, I was not teaching Spanish in Spain. And so I applied for this program called NALCAP, which is the North American Language and Cultural Assistance Program. And you go to Spain, you make a small salary, which actually goes quite far in Spain, and you work part time. So I was only working like 20 hours a week, and it was amazing. You get to live in Spain. I mean, it's really the dream. I recommend anyone does it. And there is no age limit on this program. So anyone can do it. If you're wanting to take maybe a career break, you're wanting to move to Spain, I highly recommend it.
I might do
Hmm.
that.
I know now Christine and I are
You
like,
should.
now what can we do next year?
I have neighbors in California whose son and daughter-in-law live in Spain, and they go over for like 3 months and live in Spain to be, with the family and their grandkids. I know. Okay.
It's the
I can
dream,
record
really.
this podcast from anywhere, so
You absolutely can.
I might have to chew on that idea.
Yes.
Okay, so you finished teaching in Spain.
Yep, I finished teaching in Spain, and honestly, the teaching experience wasn't really for me. I decided I don't really want to be a teacher, but I want to continue traveling. I have itchy feet, as us travelers call it. I wanted to try somewhere else. So I knew about a program in Australia where you could get a 1-year visa, and you can go and do whatever you want. You can travel, you can work. It's kind of very open-ended. So I went there. I traveled for 2 months up the east coast of Australia. So from Sydney up to Cairns, which is most of the east coast. And then I decided to go back to Sydney to get a job. And initially, I was just a job as a barista because that's kind of what people do. I was just going to be a barista. At this point, I was already a podcast manager and editor for you guys.
Can you tell the story about how you got into it, considering you were like at college, politics, and then all of a sudden podcasting? I don't even know the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of a short story, honestly. My mom has a podcast.
Yes.
And she needed an editor, and she just was like, "You're not doing anything." This is when I was in college. "You're not doing anything. You're at home, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you edit it? You're a kid. You know how to do techie stuff."
Yeah.
So I started editing her podcast. That's how I learned how to edit.
Wow.
Because it was very forgiving in that it was my mom. Obviously, she was not, it was a pro bono situation. I mean, I was learning a lot, so it was amazing. And her podcast is called Fraudish, for anyone interested.
Yes.
It is about fraud and embezzlements for professionals in the industry. It's a great podcast.
Your mom has a cool background.
My mom does. She honestly should come on this podcast.
I know. I just had that thought, actually. She follows me on Instagram and LinkedIn, so I see some of the stuff that she does more on LinkedIn. But her background looks fascinating.
It is. You'll have to have her on. But so I had been editing her podcast for a few months, and then I saw, and I was interested in becoming a more official editor beyond just my mom's podcast. And honestly, she had told me to not do it. She was like, "Don't do it. You're not going to find any work. Everyone can just hire someone from, the Philippines or India for way cheaper." And I was like, I just don't think that's true. Like, I think they want someone who has more understanding of the context, blah, blah, blah. So I ignored her advice, and it was great advice to ignore.
Nicely
done.
And
I started looking for clients when I saw Jen Pollock McNally, who runs the Seven Sisters Alumni Association, posted in a Facebook group that she was looking for a podcast editor. And I messaged her being like, "Hey, I'm a Seven Sisters alum. I'd love to put my hat in the ring for this." I had a call with her. I started editing her podcast. So I finally got my first paying client. And it kind of has been a ripple effect from there, because that is how I found Colleen, because Colleen knows Jen. And that is how I have kind of started my business as a podcast manager, editor, strategist, all of that stuff. So yeah, it's basically, I'm a Nepo baby. It all goes back to my mom.
Wow. That's cool. That's a cool story. Well, and it just sort of it supports what we talk about on a weekly basis in terms of taking an opportunity and just seeing what happens. And you had skills that you use most likely transferably. Mm-hmm. And, now you're editing our podcast, which is, I don't know, what are we, top 5%, top 10%, somewhere in there. Right? You just never know where it will lead you to, which is awesome. And, I won't spoil it. Anyways, I won't spoil your story. We'll get there.
Yeah. I think it's also, right, it's also the who you're connected with piece, right? Yeah. When Christine and I were like, we're going to do this, instantly, we knew right away that neither of us would ever get it out if we didn't have you. And I say this to folks all the time when they ask me about how do you have a successful podcast? And I said, well, yes, you have to have an interesting topic. But then the other thing that's super important to us is that we have you. Because if we didn't have you, it's so easy to be like, oh, we don't have a guest this week. We're tired. We don't want to do this. We're going on vacation. Right. But because we have you, we're like, oh, we have to make sure we have everything uploaded, aligned in our, right, in kind of the system that you want it,
Absolutely.
right? Because we're paying you. Right.
Yes, that's what I tell people that contact me about starting a podcast, and I can tell almost immediately who is actually going to do it and
Yes.
who's
Right.
not,
I love it.
because they will be like, "Oh, well, I think I want to do it every week," and I like they're very, iffy about it, and I'm like, "Well, you're either if you're going to pay me, you'll do it. If you're not going to pay anyone and it's all going to be you, you probably won't do it." And the difference between a successful podcast and a podcast that is unsuccessful, if you want to call it that, I don't know if any are, but is consistency. That's really it. It's consistency and a point of view, and you guys have both of that, like
Well,
in oodles.
and
Okay.
the
So
other
go ahead.
I was just going to say the other piece too, because this ties into what we always talk about, is that, Colleen and I were also vulnerable enough to say to each other, these are my strengths and these are not. And and to own it and to say, like, I think I was the one that instigated the conversation by saying to Colleen, I have zero fuss factor. So, and the piece around us also agreeing to invest into the podcast, because right now, the podcast, it doesn't make us any money. We just invest into it because we know, we believe in it. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that we are, like you said a few minutes ago, indirectly sharing our wisdom. We know our wisdom is being shared out there, and we can't coach 1,000 people. We can't be on every stage. Yes, those are the things that we strive for, but we can't be everywhere, and this gets us in more of those places. But I think, I guess my PSA in this moment is know your strengths. Know where you're not going to be fully committed. Have that open and honest conversation, especially if you are collaborating, and make the right decisions, right? We always talk about, even from an entrepreneurial perspective, hiring and outsourcing the pieces that you're just not going to ever get to. So back to you, Lili.
All right. So Lili, you spend your year in Australia.
Mm.
And then what do you do?
Yeah. So when I was in Australia, I did work as a barista for 1 week, and then I hated it. I had the worst boss ever. I don't know if you ever saw my I think I made a few TikToks about this, so maybe you saw it at the time, but I had the worst boss ever and I quit, and it was like a very empowering moment in my kind of career journey, was like quitting, because I'd never really quit a job before on the spot like that. But he was so disrespectful, made another person cry, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. And it ended up that the next day I opened up a Facebook group and I found like the perfect job for me in Australia that I wouldn't have found if I hadn't quit that job, which is like so exemplary of like, you'll end up where you're meant to be. You'll squiggle into where you're meant to be, even if you have some sort of, departures that are terrible for a week or whatever. So I worked in Australia for 6 months at a nonprofit doing their social media, which was great. I felt like it was an extension of this, of doing this, because I already have the skills of the social media, the editing, the video editing, Canva, all of that stuff. And that's how I got that job, honestly, was from my skills working as a podcast editor. And then while I was in Australia, I was applying for grad school because I wanted to kind of pivot Squiggle again into a different industry. And I had also always wanted to move to London. It was my lifelong dream, was to move to London. And with an American passport, you only have a few options to do that. So I was applying to grad school, and I got into the London School of Economics to do a master's in environment and development. And so after my time in Australia, I moved to London, which is where I am now.
So fun. So fun. Right. And, so you're squiggling jobs, you're squiggling locations.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's not typical. Sometimes I forget that, because I do spend a decent amount of time with people who have moved abroad a certain amount of times, but I I like it. It's right for me as of now. I am starting to feel like I should stay somewhere for a while, and I think I will stay in London for a while, but I am really glad I got my time in Australia and in Spain to see different parts of the world.
So you're finishing your master's now, right? Like, are you still working on your thesis or did you get there?
Yes, I'm working on my thesis
Yep.
right now. It's due in 1 month. It's due at the end of August. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to be looking for jobs in London, hopefully in the renewable energy industry. That is really where I'm interested in and focused on, in wind energy
Cool.
or another type of renewables, but mostly wind is what I'm interested in.
That's cool.
All right, so here's your chance to do your own little PSA here, Lili. Right, like what are you looking to do in that
True.
industry? Right, what kind of
Yes.
jobs are you hoping to get?
Yes, I'm hoping to eventually be a project manager in renewables.
Yeah.
I know here that's not necessarily an entry level role, but an assistant project manager, associate project manager. So if anyone knows anyone in London that is in the renewables space, the sustainability space, this is my PSA. I would love to connect and discuss it with anyone more.
I love that.
Yes,
We have a bunch of renewable energy companies. That's actually a thing in the Vancouver area.
I think it's a thing
I mean, they're
everywhere now.
everywhere.
I feel like
Is
it's
it
everywhere.
everywhere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a secretly huge industry. I went to a few
Yes.
conferences in the last few months and I was just astonished at how many different companies, because not only are there the wind companies and the solar companies, then there's the cable companies and the software end of it, the hardware end of it, the
Mhm.
marketing element. Like it is really big, and I'm just learning more about it because obviously I don't come from a renewable energy background, and I'm just entering it, but
That's okay.
I'm enjoying learning. Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
scary though. I will say it is really scary.
What part's scary?
I think it's the fact that I'm not. I mean, I know maybe this will sound ridiculous to you guys or to your audience, but because I feel a bit older than some of the people entering the industry, because I'm not 22 anymore, and but I'm still very much like an entry level applicant to these roles because I haven't worked a corporate job yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary to be like, I'm still learning, but I swear I have all of these skills and I'll do great. But sometimes I feel like people posture a lot and they pretend they have all these skills and this corporate experience, and I don't like lying or being inauthentic. But sometimes I feel as though I'm surrounded by it.
Hmm.
So I guess I'm just a little bit, yeah, scared and uneasy about it, but I'm trying to embrace it.
and
And
it's hard
meanwhile,
for interviews because right on interviews, as much as we always want to tell folks be authentic on your job interviews, we know in job interviews part of it is playing the game, right? Part of it is playing the game of knowing
Absolutely.
what you have to say to make it to the next round. I mean, not by being wildly inauthentic, but
Mm-mm.
sometimes, you're giving an answer that they want to hear just because there's so much competition these days. And so it can be really tricky in that whole interview process and trying to figure those pieces out while staying true to yourself.
and
Yes.
and yet though the people like what you just described, Lily, is walking the walk versus talking the talk.
Mm.
And some people will go into an interview and they can talk the talk and they will land the role and they will find themselves out of a job within 3 months. And then there's those that go in and can be open and honest and authentic and will walk the walk. Because the things that I'm kind of making an assumption here, the things that you're feeling like, oh gosh, look at all the things that I don't have. My invitation to you is to shift your perspective and look through the lens of, look at all the things that I do have. And what you are most likely bringing to the table that could actually differentiate you is your worldly experience. Because there's a lot of skills in there that you will absolutely draw upon in your day to day job. So you don't have to be just like the 22-year-olds. A, be you, and B, look at not just your schooling, but look at all of these other experiences that contribute to making you who you are today.
And you're lucky you have two interview coaches here who, once you get there, I'm sure either Christine and I would hop on a call with you at any point and kind of coach you through that, because
Yeah.
that's what we do for people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did actually, in big news, I got my first, not interview, but my first like quick chat, first 10-minute
Oh, I
kind
like
of
that.
talk offer today. I literally got an email
Nice.
Love
an
it.
hour ago. Oh, I saw your application. I'd love to have a quick chat with you. So I have that this week, and I'm going to have to, listen to the advice I've been listening to for 85 episodes and really hone it into 10 minutes of a quick chat.
There you go.
You know,
Those are really screening interviews, right? This is where they're getting on the phone. I would say that first interview is much more of a check the box, right? We're just making sure that you have the right skills so we can pass you on to the hiring manager. So you totally got
Okay.
this. Just get your transferable skills in your brain, right? Think about all the things that you bring
stories.
from your skills, from your, experience, your great communication skills, your marketing skills, right? Doesn't matter what the job is. People want to hire people who have good communication skills, who have good project management skills. Like, even if you're not a certified project manager, right? If you have that ability to kind of move people along. So you totally got this. Go, Lily.
And I no, totally.
Thanks.
And Lily, you and I actually have both woken up to, possibilities in our inbox.
Ooh.
I want, another PSA here is in terms of driving these opportunities, not being passive and having the courage to send an email and to ask for I love that, the quick chat. That's so great. And,
It's such a British term for that too, right?
it's
Here they're
okay.
like,
Is that
we
what
would
it
like
is?
to schedule a screening interview for you, right? Whereas British are like,
No, they said you wanna hop on a call for a quick chat.
yeah,
That was
very
it.
British.
No, I love it because I had the same this morning, and I'm going to actually share this because it's a reminder that if you want something, you have to be the one that goes after it. Colleen hosted a mastermind for a bunch of us that want to drive our speaking businesses forward. And while I should have probably been paying attention in that meeting, I wasn't. I decided that I was going to take the opportunity to send an email. And I received an email back today that said, yeah, we want to talk to you about coming in and speaking. And I was like, it works.
Right.
But you have to just like find the courage, send the email, make the ask, don't get attached, and see what happens.
Right. No one's going to invite you in if they don't know what you
Gotta
want to
open
be
the
invited in
doors.
for, right?
You do. So high-fiving Lily and me.
Yay.
Maybe, yeah. Colleen, do you have a win? Do you have a win for Monday morning?
I've had a bunch over the last couple of weeks that I've booked 4 keynotes, and so for the fall,
Wow.
and I also have something big that's happening, but I can't talk about it yet. I'm
Ooh, a
bound
soft
for at
launch.
least 30 days. So I'll tell you when we get off camera. But yeah,
Cool.
a couple things that are
That's exciting.
happening. So
I love it.
all right, back to you, Lily. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you make it to London, you do your program. What was your favorite part of your program? Like, this was different than what you've studied before. So, like, what are the things that you
Definitely, it
loved
was
about it?
different. Yeah, it was different in so many ways because not only was it a different subject, but it's the British higher education system, which couldn't be
Oh,
further
different.
from my
Yeah.
from my hippy dippy liberal arts experience in Western Massachusetts. Like, and some parts of it is good. I overall think that I'm very lucky I got to attend a liberal arts college in the United States. I think I liked my experience there a little bit more, but I did learn a lot about time management, self motivation, because so much of it is all on you, which is typical for a master's program. Obviously, it's very different than undergrad, but it was all on us, like in a way that I was not expecting, and in a way I was like, what exactly are we paying for? But but Yeah, but there were pros to it. Like I really did learn how to manage my time in a way. Like I learned how to write checklists, which you guys know I already know how to write checklists,
Yes.
but I learned how to really follow through on them, all based on my own self-motivation, which I think is an incredibly important skill for the workforce for sure.
Yes.
Love it. I want to squiggle this conversation in a completely different direction. Lili,
Please.
I would love for you to share your story about going viral on your meetups.
Oh, on my meetups.
On your, I'm drawing a blank on what you call them. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
There's a name. Thank you. That's it. I would love for you to share that piece because I just think that, again, is throwing something out to the universe and seeing if it sticks.
Totally. So, something I haven't mentioned yet on this podcast is that I've always, for the last few years, I've shared a lot of my life online on TikTok and Instagram. My handle is at A Rich Woman's World. And honestly, I had gone viral for other things in the past, but never for something that led to something so concrete. So what happened was London winters are very difficult, which I'm used to. I'm from Oregon. We have dark gray winters. So I've always known that like having a busy social life in the winter is incredibly important for mental health. And I think this year I learned even more so. So one day I posted a video, something along the lines, it was literally a 6-second video of me in a pub bathroom. No joke. Of me doing a little dance and going, it's so important to get out of the house on weeknights, making sure you have social events or activities or anything on weeknights, at least 2 to 3 weeknights a week. And that went sort of viral. And someone commented, you should host a meetup in London and do these activities, like really do what you're saying to do. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm not going to do that. No one follows me. No one would show up. That would be crazy. And then I was like, but isn't that like what all the best things start with? A crazy idea that you think is going to fail. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I started a WhatsApp group chat. Immediately 100 people joined. I started an Instagram page and I just said, okay, I'm going to do a meetup. We're going to go walk around these Christmas markets. And, 10 or 12 people came to the first meetup, which was crazy to me because I was like, wow, these people are real. And they were all so lovely, such lovely people. And so I just kept doing them. And now it's called Londoners Against SAD. And the SAD stands for seasonal affective disorder, but I think it kind of just stands for like Londoners Against being sad and lonely and bored on weeknights. So my whole shtick is having activities on weeknights in London. And yeah, I do probably one a month. And I'm having my next one in 2 days. And it's been such a great learning experience and somewhere that I absolutely never expected to go. Like I've never planned events before. I have never like been that extroverted of a person in a way that I thought event planners and community organizers had to be. But it's been a really amazing learning opportunity.
And you're full-fledged planning really cool activities, right? Because I follow you on TikTok and I watch you go to your activities. And, it's not like you're just saying, let's go meet and walk around the Christmas market like you did the first time. Like you're full-fledged planning events.
Yes, it's definitely
that are selling out.
Yes, they all actually. That is the thing I'm like most proud of so far is so first I just did free events and I still do free events because I think it's important to have a variety of options for people. But I started hosting ticketed events because everything in London costs money. So I have sold out almost every event that I've done so far. And yeah, I've done really cool ones, board game nights, craft nights, pub quiz nights. And I've met the coolest people doing it.
Painting. I remember you had one where I think you had put up money for an event. I want to say it was painting. I could be totally wrong.
Yes, it was pottery painting.
And I remember seeing your post and you were like, I just invested and I'm not sure I can make this work. What happened?
Absolutely.
What happened with that?
Yeah, so I put up a lot of money for that because pottery painting I bet the mothers out there know this because it's a very common birthday party activity. it's very expensive. It basically costs somewhere around $50 a person.
Wow.
So the one I found in London, the cheapest option was £40 a person to paint an item of pottery. It was a 3-hour activity. It was quite a long activity, really fun. And everyone had requested it. They're like, let's do pottery painting. I'm like, fine, I'm going to do it. I found a place. They're like, you have to put down, 200 pounds and you have to guarantee a minimum sell of
That's what it
this
was.
amount.
Yeah.
And I did it. I was promoting it for 2 weeks and I had gotten 3 signups and I needed 10 minimum. And so 2 days before the event, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose hundreds of pounds on this. And so I posted a TikTok that was basically me desperately saying, I'm a student. I cannot afford to do this. I really hope people come. But honestly, this is just a joke at this point. Like, don't do this, anyone. And then I posted that video, woke up, and it had sold out overnight because that video had gotten like 10,000 views.
I love how you're so raw. Like, you're just so raw. I love it.
Yeah, I just feel like you have to be to get
do.
anywhere these days. Like,
Yeah.
really, I didn't like it at first, but now I really just think you have to be. It's kind of the price of entry is embarrassment these days, honestly. There's a bit of embarrassment and a bit of uncomfiness, but it is what works.
And then in 12 hours, you turned the whole thing around.
Yes, that was crazy. And the event was amazing. Honestly, It was such a fantastic event. But it was scary for sure. And every time I plan an event, it scares me because most of the things I do have to put my own money forward, and I don't make any money from these events. Like, really, it's just goes directly to the vendor wherever we're going. So it's really just a passion project. So it's very scary.
I love it. Passion projects can be very scary.
Particularly when there's dollars involved or pounds.
Yes, pounds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Okay, I love that. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yes, of course.
What would you say are your words of wisdom? What is it that you want our audience to know?
Well, I feel like I have a unique perspective for Embrace the Squiggle because I think I'm the youngest guest by thus far, I think.
Do believe.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm the...
I'm going to say yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm 26, so I'm saying that now. I'm the youngest. We'll see in the future.
Yeah,
someone
as
can
of
beat
now,
me,
you're definitely the youngest.
Mm-hmm. So my words of wisdom, especially for maybe the young people or people with children that are around my age, is honestly something you guys have said before. It's to take risks because I just think life is too short. I think people that aren't taking risks aren't living life to its fullest. And I say that because, I mean, for a lot of reasons. Obviously, I've taken a lot of risks over the course of my, career journey. But, I lost my dad when I was at a youngish age a few years ago, back when I was 21. And I feel like what I learned from that was like life really is short.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too short to be worrying about what other people think of you and to not do the things that you've dreamed of and that you kind of have imagined in your wildest dreams. Like my move to London, honestly, is a dream I've had since I was 13, watching One Direction videos in my pink bedroom. And I was like, if I don't do it now, like who knows if I'll ever do it? I might as well do it. And my move to London has been honestly the best thing I've done. I think I'm the happiest I've really been in my adult life. So yeah, do the crazy thing. For sure.
I love that.
You also found all your people in London, right? Like you found your people, which goes so far with all of these things, right? With work, with life, with, family, friends, all those things. But to find your people makes such a difference in life.
Yeah, your community is so important. And I've seen that in all of my moves is when I've had close friends versus when I haven't, that's all that matters to my mental health, my physical health, like all of it is really impacted by who I'm surrounded with. And I've gotten really lucky in London and honestly on most of my moves that I've found people that have been fantastic.
And you've also put yourself out there to do that, right? I mean,
I was just going to say,
it's been sad, right? You're purposely building a community for yourself.
True. No one's going to knock on your door and ask if you can be friends. That's
Right.
unfortunately, that's not how, once you leave school, that's not how it works. You aren't surrounded by people your own age in the same situation anymore. You have to put yourself out there.
Adult friendships are very different
And hard,
Incredibly, yes.
and
right?
hard.
I mean, I
Yeah,
hear from
'cause
friends
it takes
all the
longer.
time, right? Or I've been taking pottery, right?
I love that.
Speaking of pottery, right? I've been taking pottery for a couple of years. And one of the women in my class this past time was like, she literally looked at me and she goes, okay, I feel like I'm a little kid, but like, would you be my friend? And I like laughed and I was like, yes. I'm like, I totally get that. Right. We're like, let's go grab dinner after class one night. Right. Because it
Nice.
is, you hit that age where it's like, there's not a, there's not a, not, I don't want to say normal, but there's not an easy pathway to like
It's not
find
easy.
people anymore.
I had a day yesterday. I needed a day to reset. And so I took myself to the forest for a hike. And then I stopped at the river and I did my little like free cold plunge in the river. And I actually had a moment, Colleen doesn't know this, where I was like kind of feeling the itch that I need like a change of scenery. And I was like, maybe I can like book a week, like fly to Massachusetts for like a long weekend. I was like, maybe I'll just like, because I can. I was like, she can just pick me up in Hartford and drive me right to her lake house. And I will just hang out for 3 days. Then I'll fly home. But it
That's
is
what friends are
right?
for.
Like,
Right?
like you, right? Like, I mean, this, my crystal ball never told me I was doing this and talking to Colleen on a daily basis from a bus to this. But that's the thing, right? And like you got to open doors, you got to lean in, you got to take the risk and just go for it because you just never know. You never know. And I will acknowledge your loss, Lili, because I had the same thing happen in my life where I lost my mom 2018 and it was 18 months and it was life-changing. Like because of that experience, I live my life the way I live my life. And if that,
Definitely.
and like I don't have a mom anymore. And yet it was actually one of the greatest gifts that I could have ever received was moving through that journey, because I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'd be still in higher education, like dying, slow death.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the losses really are the greatest gift we get. I didn't feel that at the time, but now
it's
with
hard.
a little bit of perspective,
Yep.
I am a completely different person.
Yeah.
I don't honestly recognize who I was before it.
No.
And in a weird way, I'm grateful for it, because I think, what other perspective can you really have?
I know. See, this is why you're our podcast manager. I didn't know that. I didn't know that little bit. So it's like an energetic vibe of like, these are my people.
Right? I agree with that. I can tell. This is, a quote that is completely false. There's two types of people in the world: people that have lost someone and people that haven't yet. Obviously, everyone will lose a great amount of people in their life. Yeah. It's inevitable.
Yes.
But I feel like I can tell when people have learnt from loss and when they haven't, especially because I'm still young. So a lot of people have not gone through great loss. But I think it really gives you such great perspective on everything, everything. My whole life is guided by it. Yeah. It's kind of my most woo-woo element. I'm not religious. I don't go to church, any of that, but I feel very spiritually connected to this one element of life and death.
Yeah. It's choice. And like you said 43 minutes ago, we're only here for so long, so go for it. Amazing.
Oh, right. Wow. That was like a weird moment of having sirens now blaring right after that part of the
Welcome. I know. Oh. Welcome to Vancouver.
Whose sirens are those?
Those are mine.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask that this podcast not be edited. It should just be authentic. This is
sirens and all.
Sirens and all.
Got sirens. I just feel like that phone moment call.
Yeah. Okay. We got to wrap up because, Christine, we are 44 minutes in.
I know.
We're supposed to wrap up at 30 minutes in. We are 14 minutes over.
This is a special episode.
Very special.
All right, Lili. We're gonna go with some different questions because you've heard all these. So we're gonna.
Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
You rehearsed, cheater.
I know. All right. What's your go-to pump up song? Like, what do you listen to when you're like, I need to like dance and move?
Okay, this is weird and not really a pump up song, but I listened to All My Love by Noah Kahan.
Nice.
Not really it does make me dance. It might not make everyone dance.
I have to go listen to that one. It's not ringing a bell.
Okay, I always want to know what people are binging or streaming on TV because I'm always looking for my next watch. So we'll give you that one too.
Okay, great. Because I am such a TV pop culture connoisseur. I just watched Too Much, which is a new show on Netflix about an American who moves to London. It's Lena Dunham's new show.
Ooh, love her.
And I highly recommend it. It was really good. I watched it over the course of like 3-4 days. It was very, very cute.
All right. So as an American living in London, are you a coffee, as I'm sitting here drinking my Dunkin', which can't be like any more Massachusetts? Are you a coffee or tea person now?
I'm a coffee person, but I have tea in the afternoon. So morning coffee, tea in the afternoon.
Nice. So what is the thing I'm thinking like food. Okay. So what is the food item you miss most from the States? Like if we're coming to visit you, which and I'm coming in November for Thanksgiving. So when I come for Thanksgiving, right, what is the food item that you're like, this is the thing that I want everyone to bring me?
It can't necessarily be brought, but I miss Mexican food, ironically. Because Oregon, maybe not on the East Coast, Mexican food isn't as good, but in Oregon we have really good Mexican food, and it just doesn't exist in London. So I miss going and just like getting a burrito somewhere, tacos, going to a place where the plate is like the size of a tire.
Yep.
You know, yeah, I miss that.
Like
All right, maybe I can bring you some like Mexican spices and some like, pickled
some hot
jalapenos.
sauce. Mm-hmm.
I will say the last time we went over to visit family to Europe, we brought Annie's mac and cheese.
I do miss that. Yeah.
And marshmallow peeps.
Oh, I hate marshmallows.
Right? Well, I don't hate marshmallows, but peeps are like a whole nother world. And I just think
really
it's so
hate
funny
peeps.
because they don't sell them there because they are literally like, it's like how many artificial things can you put into one item?
Yeah.
It's peep.
I don't think we have marshmallow peeps in Canada.
You don't because
they're probably banned.
They're banned because it is literally everything that's bad for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even think we have Dunkin' Donuts.
I
might have to ask the Google on that one. I don't think we even have Dunkin' Donuts.
There's no Dunkin' Donuts in Oregon, I will say. It's more of an East Coast thing. So
yeah, I don't think
probably
we
didn't make it to Vancouver.
We have Timmy's.
Yep. All right, last one, which I know you wrote it down because we started before this. What is your book recommendation, Lili?
My book recommendation is What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding. It is, I forget who the author is, but the author was also a writer on the TV show How I Met Your Mother. So she's a really good writer. And the book is about her travels throughout her 30s and early 40s. Obviously, the title, What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding. So kind of all of her friends were settling down, having kids, and she was traveling every summer to a new location when she was on break from writing TV shows. And it is such a great, fun read. It's very like rom-com. I would say it's like a rom-com in a book. I really recommend it. It's a great summer read.
Okay.
Nice. I will add that to my list because I will say when I read, particularly at night, I need stuff like that, right? I want like the fluff, not heavy.
Yes, it's definitely some fluff. I loved it.
Okay, cool. I just finished my audiobook last night. So I'm due for a new start.
Great.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Lili, for being our guest today. So if our listeners want to find you and your podcast and your London Sad group, like where do they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and TikTok at A Rich Woman's World. I have an Instagram for Londoners Against Sad called Londoners Against. And I do have a new podcast out called Packing Up and Piecing Out that is about living abroad, moving abroad. It's with a co-host because I just love podcasts with two hosts. So yeah, you can find me there and on LinkedIn, Lili Paxton.
Excellent. And our fabulous producer, Lily, will link those in the show notes for everyone.
Absolutely, I will.
And she's going to leave this as an unedited version of the Embrace the Squiggle podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Lily, for being our guest today. This was so fun. We have to do this again.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Yeah, such a great podcast today.
Love it. Thanks, Lily. Thanks, Colleen.
Is it time for you to add a little squiggle to your career? Join us every week to hear from another guest talk about how they embrace the squiggle.
Subscribe now and find your inspiration.